Turning to water security as an investment issue. The need to increase investments in drinking water supply and sanitation services, especially in developing countries, is an imperative for reducing poverty and to the achievement of the MDGs to which I have referred. Meeting the MDG Goal 7 requires huge investments in infrastructure. The World Bank estimates that the cost of achieving MDG 7 by 2015 is $3 billion. Climate change, however, places uncertainty in evaluating its potential impacts on proposed investments, and few efforts to quantify the diverse impacts and their implications have been made. This is probably one area that probably could be the focus, not only here, but in Turkey. Turning to water security as an infrastructure issue. To achieve security, countries need to maintain a minimum platform of water infrastructure and management capacity. When this platform is achieved, societies are resilient to the impacts of water. They have a level of access to water-related services that enables growth to move on. And drought, floods, epidemics, and other water-related impacts no longer jeopardize growth. Finally, turning to water as a security impact on food security. Food production and water security share a strong interdependent relationship. And this was a brunt of the discussion of the Deputy Secretary General earlier this week. But it would seem that water is an important input in crop and livestock farming and in food processing and storage. As a result, addressing issues of water pricing, water quality, and availability will have significant impacts on food pricing, affordability, and availability. In addition, reduction in agriculture will induce population dislocation, leading migration away from rural areas to urban areas. Social problems associated with such migration, such as the development of slums and associated social areas, are evident in many South American, Asian, and African societies. In the Caribbean, the issue of food security is being addressed at the national and regional level. So, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, how do I conclude from this wide-ranging panoply of issues that have been presented, that has been presented? Ladies and gentlemen, a picture of relative gloom and doom, but here is the good news. Most of the region's water problems can be solved through more appropriate planning and management. However, strong leadership is integral to improving water governance, including management practices, institutional arrangements, and socio-political conditions. While specific solutions will vary according to each country's particular circumstances, some basic principles which are relevant across the global situation. The water experts have agreed that reliable and accessible data is of critical importance. Not only data on water, but data on related social, economic, and environmental factors. No country can hope to plan, develop, and manage water resources on a long-term sustainable basis without this. Also, of utmost significance is the need to forge strong partnerships. All sectors, governments, the private sector, civil society, development institutions, media, and others have an important role to play in tackling the challenge of water security. Thirdly, water quality management is essential, and although it is an area in which we have yet to come across, we realize that continued neglect of this area can only lead to serious health, social, and economic implications. Finally, we need to focus concertedly on capacity building. Failure to do so is likely to be quite different from those in the past. Solving those problems will require new skills, new approaches, and new mindset. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to state that whether in the Caribbean or in the global community, for water to sustain, to form part of our economic growth, we need to ensure that the systems and infrastructure are in place and well maintained, that we have strong institutions which are able to respond to the needs of the society, and that we have adequate resources to develop our infrastructure. However, the experts will tell you that the cost of achieving water security for developing countries is phenomenal. Meeting this challenge will require innovations in water resource management, development, and governance, and also partnership in resource mobilization. We will need to produce policies that encourage efficient management and use of existing resources. We need to adopt and promote the adoption of appropriate techniques and methodologies appropriate to the regions in the world and countries over the globe. Water is life, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot rest. We must not rest, and we shall not rest until we tackle effectively this development challenge of water security. This is not only a responsibility for individual states of the region from which I come. It is a responsibility of each of us to ensure that we use our scarce water and human resources to achieve sustainable growth and development. We owe it to ourselves, to our respective countries and region. We owe it to the billions around the world who live without this life-sustaining resource. And above all, we owe it to God Almighty to manage wisely this gift to which He entrusted us as good stewards for future generations. In the words of the most talked about, most popular, and arguably the most powerful man in the world, who had the audacity to hope, and who has brought color, clarity, and other things to the American dream, and in so doing has placed that dream within the grasp of the ordinary, I say, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we can. Thank you very much.